I don't know if you know this, but it's quarantine. It's COVID and I have nothing to do. I'm in the house and I'm bored. And I was thinking about, like, I don't know about you, but a lot of us are watching a lot of movies. I happen to be a huge romantic comedy fan. Like, insanely big romantic comedy fan. Meg Ryan, Julia Roberts, love them to death. I have a very large collection of romantic comedies. And so I was thinking about making a video just because I'm bored, and, you know, I put the makeup on and I put the wig on. I'm like, I should probably record, you know, just for fun. And then, like, I think about a week ago, an article came out about black movies that people should see that are, like, you know, really good black movies that don't have, like, that aren't about slavery, civil rights, or tribes, I guess, black trauma, ghettos and stuff. And it's a really good article, and I've seen, like, I don't know, 90% of the movies on that list. And I realized that I could make a video, since Valentine's Day is going to be, like, Monday, I think. Valentine's Day is around the corner, so I'm like, why don't I make a video about, like, black rom-coms that you guys can like look into if you're into that. Most of us probably won't be going out. I know I won't, because I don't have a Valentine's, but that's beside the point. But if you want to stay in, watch some romantic comedies with your boo, and you want to, like, watch some, like, black cinema, I just thought that these would be some good movies for you to kind of, like, get into, and hopefully we can get some. It'll encourage, if any of my producer friends are out there, encourage us to make more movies like this. So yeah, so it's just for fun. It's a little stupid thing, but, you know, I just thought it'd be fun to make it. Okay, so I made a list because, you know, I'm organized. So my number one, I'm going to start with number one because I can't do it backwards. It doesn't make any sense to do it that way. My number one favorite all time, 100, like, I watch it more times than I probably should have. My favorite romantic comedy, black romantic comedy, is Brown Sugar. Brown Sugar is so good. Brown Sugar is literally what a romantic comedy should be. It's starring Taye Diggs and Sanaa Lathan. And, like, I'm going to say this now. Sanaa Lathan is in 3 of the movies that I'm recommending. She, to me, is, like, she has this kind of presence. She has a very a likability she has a likability, but she's able to also be kind of flexible in her acting style. So she's not just one character, which is good, but she's still likable in each of her roles. And so she ends up being in, like, she is in my top 3. Not on purpose. I just realized when I was making this list, I'm like, shit, she's in all 3 of these movies. But she's really great. And then Taye Diggs he's Taye Diggs. So there you go. So for me, a romantic comedy has to have, there are certain things that you have to make a romantic comedy successful. One of them is a decent script. Like, you have to have a decent story. It is just like with a romance novel. Yes, we know that they're going to get together at the end. That is truly not the point. This is about a romantic comedy, like a romance novel, is about the journey. It's not about the end. We already know that they're going to end together, but what did they have to go through to get together? And a lot of romantic comedies now kind of forget that we want to kind of go through this journey with them, and we want it to be worth it. So you have to have a good story, a cute story. You have to have likable leads, to me. Very rare, or if you're gonna have leads who aren't likable, there has to be something in their character that's going to make them likable towards the end. You have to be able to root for these people, and if you're not rooting for them, like, yeah, I want them to get together, you have burlesque. Sorry, that was shade, but you can't, like, you have to want the people to get together. So you have to have chemistry. You have to have at least kind of likable characters. So chemistry, likable characters, and a good story. It has to be, we have to want to get to the happy ending. And Brown Sugar just delivers all of it. It also has this, it tells the love story through the story of how hip hop came to be in New York. So good. It just, Queen Latifah's in it, Mos Def is in it, and it's just a really good story. It's a really good story, really good characters, and it's a fully black cast. There's like not a lot of like non-black people in the movie, but these are working professionals. Some of them, it's like, I think a lot of people get turned off by the idea of like black movies where everybody's just so like, oh my god, everybody's like upper middle class and so bougie and driving Bentleys and shit. And this is not one of those movies. This is a movie of two people who have a passion for music, and how that passion translated into a career, but how that career path didn't go exactly where they wanted it to go. But through all of this, they've always been there for, it's so good. So if you love Taye Diggs, because I do, I think he's gorgeous. If you love Sanaa Lathan, if you just like a story, especially a story that's kind of told through the kind of, I don't know how to explain this. If you like good layered stories that tell another story through music, this is the one. And of course, the soundtrack is absolutely amazing. Most of the ones on this list have really good soundtracks, with the exception of one, only because I've never heard the soundtrack, so I can't really say yes or no to how good it is. So, okay, so if you haven't had a chance, Brown Sugar, please go and watch it. I don't know if it's streaming. Probably not, because another problem, they don't stream most of these movies. They, like, if you don't own them, they're very hard to find. So if you know a place to stream any of these movies, please let me know. I can link it somewhere so people can watch it. Okay, so my second favorite romantic, this one's not really a romantic comedy, but it's just, the story is so good that I decided to put it on the list anyway, because it's more romance than comedy to me. So like, it's not really, I guess it's not, I shouldn't have put it on the list, but it's my number 2. It's like one of my second favorite ones to watch when I get a chance to, and that one is Love and Basketball, and that one also has Sanaa Lathan in it. Another story of friends who kind of grow up together and having to learn to see each other as not just, and this one is like they're friends, but they're also kind of rivals, and they grow up together, and their situations kind of flip at some point. It's really good acting is the main reason why this one's on the list. The acting is so good in this one. The story is really, really good. There's not enough comedy, quite frankly, which is why, like, if Brown Sugar is 100 for me, this one's like 90. Like, because there needs to be some ha-has, some good ha-has, and this one doesn't have the ha-has for me. So that's kind of, that takes away the 10 points from that one. But other than that, it's like a really good story. This one tells the story, I don't know if you can tell from the title, but this one tells the love story through basketball. Again, since I'm not a huge sports fan, I kind of prefer football to basketball. That's also something that kind of like I have to kind of pull back away from. But other than that, like, the story is really good. It's missing ha-has and it's basketball. So, but outside of those two things, fantastic story, and that's really one you should check out if you haven't seen it yet. So that's my number 2. And so my third one, I love this movie, but again, like, if Love and Basketball is 100, if Brown Sugar is 100 and Love and Basketball is 90, this one's like 75. Some days it's an 80, some days it's a 75. And that movie is Something New. Yes, also Sanaa Lathan. And damn it, I can't remember the name of the guy who is her romantic lead in this one. I feel so bad because he's in a lot of stuff. He's the dude who's in The Mentalist, and he's like, I think he's actually Australian, and he has a great accent that he never uses when he's acting, which is so strange to me. Why don't you use your accent? Accents are hot, but whatever. So then we have Something New, also with Sonali. Taraji Henson's also in this. Not my favorite role of hers, but she does bring the ha-has. And this one, again, it probably should have been higher, except that there's too many. This one has more gems than flaws, but there are too many flaws in the story for me to put it higher on the list. So, there's just some inconsistencies with it. There were scenes that didn't need to be necessary. I'm personally I don't like secondhand embarrassment. I don't like unnecessary uncomfort in a movie. And there are a couple of scenes in this where, I should probably tell you what the story is, huh? So Something New is basically about this very upper middle class, very professional, white collar black woman who ends up dating a white guy, and it's for the first time. It's basically about her, like, she's someone who's she's like marriage minded, but there aren't any marriage candidates around. And then one of her coworkers is like, well, maybe you should start looking in, fishing in a different lake since you're fishing, And so they set her up on a blind date, and the blind date's with a white dude. And they keep running into each other, and then they end up deciding to and it kind of breaks her out of her box, and it's her growing out of her comfort zone, but also growing as a person. It's again, the storyline of it is really good. The acting is some of the chemistry between her and the lead guy literally saves the movie for the most part, because some of the script is like iffy with how they wrote certain scenes. It's like, what? Every scene she has with her homegirls is great. The scenes with her homegirls are good, but then it's like scenes outside of that get a little. Scenes with him are good. Scenes where he's pushing her to do stuff that she's not used to doing, and she's just I don't want to do that. And he's like, well, you're going to anyway. It's like, again, the gems in this kind of outweigh the coal, like the stones in this. It's like, it's worth watching, but I can't deny some of the flaws in it. Like, again, there's a stand-up scene that was completely unnecessary to the movie. There's also this, I don't want to ruin it, but there's a scene where they have a fight, and it's like the amount of time from when they have this fight to when he comes to make up with her it doesn't make sense. It's little stuff like that. It's like you could have taken this scene out and then put made these scenes longer so the timeline would make sense, but they didn't do that. So just little stuff in the movie just made me go. But then they have a scene where they're in the garden, and it's like, oh, this is so cute. The scene where he meets the dad, and I'm like, oh, I want that. It just, there are enough of these good scenes to make me I'll skip the stupid comedy scene to get to the scene at the wedding, stuff like that. So it's definitely worth watching. Just be warned. It's there are certain scenes in it that are kind of so. But those are my top 3. So Brown Sugar, Love and Basketball, and Something New are my top 3 black rom-coms that if you haven't seen them, you should really check them out. I did want to throw in a couple of honorable mentions into this, because again, there aren't a lot of black rom-coms, a lot of romances without people dying or getting shot and shit. So I tend to like smushy, marshmallowy, fluffy love stories, and for some reason they don't want to get at the black people, and that makes me very upset. So when I find some that I like, I get really excited and I try to own them. I'm missing 2 off this list. Oh, yeah, 2 on this list I don't own, but the rest of them, I'm going to find a way to get them within probably this month. So first honorable mention is Love Jones. The only reason why it's not higher on the list is because there's nothing about it that's a rom-com. Like, I can make an exception for Love and Basketball because there's plenty of scenes in it. There's enough scenes in it that'll make me go, okay, but this has funny scenes. Love Jones is a drama. There's a lot of drama. If anything, I guess the best way to put it is that with most rom-coms are about the process of falling in love. You know, you meet, go through all these hassles, but at the end of it, you fall in love, and there's, you know, they get married, and yay, happy ending. That's what a rom-com for the most part is. The journey to falling in love. Love Jones is more about the pitfalls of the journey and the pitfalls of being in a relationship. Like, they do the whole falling in love part, but then they also go past that about when they're in the relationship, and then after that honeymoon period is over, and then them dealing, it's the acting. Now, my friends who are really into like more dramatic movies, Love Jones is the one you want to watch. That one is not Tay Diggs. That one's Lorenz Tate and Nia Long. And I'm just telling you, this one has a unbelievably good soundtrack. Just so good. The soundtrack is so good. It's so good. And this one, like Brown Sugar was one that kind of told the story of the love story through hip hop. And this one kind of tells the love story through jazz. Because they're all jazz heads and poets and shit. Writers and photographers and like very artsy, but smart, artsy kind of people. So this one tells the story through kind of like through jazz. So it's a little bit more dramatic. A little bit way more dramatic. It's not like a downer like completely, but it's more serious than like Love and Basketball and Brown Sugar. So, but the acting in it is wonderful. The love story is maybe a little trickery. They don't have an easy time of it. So, but it's a good story. The acting is really good. The music is really good. The setting is really good. Just the characters are really good. It's a good movie. So, Love Jones, honorable mention, only not higher because it's way more dramatic and it's kind of sad in certain parts. And I'm, you know, happy time girl. So, but for my drama people, you guys will really love that one if you haven't seen it already. And my other honorable mention is Just Right. Now, before people start pelting me, yes, I know it's not the best movie ever. It's all of it's really not great. Like, okay, so System, like, Brown Sugar's 100. My lowest one was like 75. This one is like a solid 60. Anything lower than a 60 is like, you shouldn't rewatch it. This one is like right on 60 for me. Just right there. Because the story's there. The story is there. It's a great story. I love the concept of the story. I love the characters, quite frankly. The characters are good characters. And most of it plays out. The thing where it falls is kind of, well, the chemistry is iffy. Chemistry is iffy. Like, some scenes, chemistry is really good, and then other scenes, chemistry is like non-existent, which is really odd to me. It's like, you guys were so cute in this scene, and then in this scene, it's like, I don't understand what happened. So chemistry is kind of off in certain scenes, but it's really good in other scenes. And like the script, again, it's one of the things where like some of the scenes were unnecessary and kind of drag the story down. So I can't, like, if you have time and you watched all the other ones already and you like you just want a silly little movie to watch, this is a good one. Because Queen Latifah is great in it. Oh, her relationship with her, I love her and her dad in this movie. Like, she's good because, you know, she's Queen Latifah. So Queen Latifah just tends to be good and stuff. So she's good in this. So I absolutely love her in this movie. And Common's hot, you know. I'm trash. I apologize. Common has no shirt on. Common is adorable in his own way. They're just certain scenes. I don't know if it's him or the director, because it's kind of like that thing that Cameron Diaz has. Like, Cameron Diaz, I like, it's like, when she's good, but when she's not, I'm like, I don't know if it's her or the director, because I know she could be better, right? And I feel like that was Common. I feel like when Common is good, he's good. So if he's not doing well, is that the director's fault? Did they not tell him how he should have? Did they not catch that this was off and like kind of push him in another direction? I don't know. I'm making excuses for him because he's Common and I love him. Okay, so I want to support him when he does stuff like this. And again, there are not a lot of rom-coms out there for people of color, especially black people. I mean, it's even worse for if you're Asian. So crazy Asians, hey, go for it. We need more. But so I want to support the movie because I also love the fact that Queen Latifah is a bigger girl. Not so much because she's like out of shape. It's more that she's tall, she's like thick, and she's not like model-esque. And it's not really an issue in the movie. Like, sometimes when you have a bigger girl in the movie, they make the thing about her being, oh my God, isn't it great that this girl who's like a size 16 gets a man? It's like, it doesn't even really come up, except they make a couple of jokes about it, but it's never like, her weight is never an issue because she's obviously not out of shape. You know, it's just little stuff like that makes me like the movie. I'm like, again, she's fantastic in it. Felicia Rashad's in it, and she's great. I can't remember her name, who plays her cousin, somebody Patton. Alan Thicke's ex-wife, who he cheated on. She's in it, and she's cute. She's just annoying enough. I'll just leave it at that. So like, it's a good movie to like pop in if you've seen all the other movies and you just want to see Queen Latifah be awesome. But I could not, like, it's not a great movie, but I'm putting it in there anyway because I really love it. So yeah, so like for Valentine's Day, if you guys, that's pretty much all we got. So for Valentine's Day, if y'all have nothing else to do, it's Black History Month, and we're trying to be a little bit more conscious of black cinema, black actors, and black love and black stories. So I think that these would be some really good stories for you guys to watch if you haven't seen them. If you want any more recommendations for like rom-coms, you let me know. I may or may not do another one of these, but I really want to do one about like my favorite black rom-coms. And hopefully you guys get a chance to see it. If you watch them and you love them, get at me, DM me. We could talk about it. I love to talk about rom-coms. I love to talk about like rom-coms, anime, and Harry Potter. Not